Uperfect sent me their brand new 15.6-inch touchscreen 1080p 2000 to 1 contrast ratio with the new swivel design. It even has a little light in the back, ambient LED lights, and it also has a full-size HDMI, and it turns a non-touchscreen device into a touchscreen device. You can game on it. The brightness is magnificent, and at 1000 sRGB, the color accuracy on this thing is pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and check it out. So here we are, I'm replicating my monitor. I'm doing a duplicate display for my gaming laptop through HDMI. The wire you see on the left coming out is just the power cord. I have it hooked up. It's at 100% brightness right now. This is 1080p only, so that's why it's a little cheaper. If you want to get 4K, you're going to spend a little bit more money. I did want to check out the portrait mode on this thing because with this swivel thing on the back, you'll see it later in the video, you can swivel this display vertical, portrait mode, or landscape mode, and just wanted to show you how easy it was. You just change it in your operating system and the monitor automatically does it there. So here we are in portrait mode, and as you see, you can show all kinds of things. If you're doing like Twitch chat or you're doing whatever, you can easily do that. And as you see, I'd have no touchscreen right now until I add the USB Type-C here. So that's what I thought was really cool about this monitor, that you could turn a non-touchscreen device into a touchscreen device, whether you're traveling or if you're going to a business meeting or you want to do any kind of portable gaming. It's totally set up for that. Speaking of gaming, we're gonna go play some Fortnite here, and it works just fine. The audio, you can have it come out of the monitor. We're going to check out the speakers momentarily, but this isn't a 144 hertz screen. It's only a 60 hertz screen, so keep that in mind when you're using this. It's not necessarily gaming specific. As far as this, now I'm using Samsung DeX with my Samsung Galaxy S10. You can kind of see the phone on the left there, and I'm just running YouTube through the DeX app, and it runs great. The touchscreen features are amazing, and it really turns your phone into a full-size computer. So in this portion, just showing you all the different settings here. You can change the contrast, the brightness. We are running through my phone still, and speaking of phone, it works for a lot of different devices. I just am on Amazon DeX, or not Amazon, but Samsung DeX, and many of these phone manufacturers have their own, utility to turn your phone into a desktop, and it could do a ton with all the different inputs and outputs on this particular device, the IOs. There's plenty to do here, from computers to phones to Nintendo Switch, consoles, even mini portable gaming devices with outputs on them. Really, the possibilities are endless. As far as you have HDR on here, you have the different color modes, and then you have a little bit of flexibility with the alignment and things like that. But as you see here, the color temp is going to be your main source of changing the profile here. And it looks really good. Right now the sound is coming out of my phone, not the tablet. In DeX you have to manually change that, and I'll be manually changing that in a second. And so I would just want to talk about what you're about to hear, which is the speakers are at 100 when I switch it over, and you can actually see that even this little video we're watching now, the volume just like really maxes out the speakers. It's actually, in my opinion, not very good, and I actually have to reduce the sound down to about 50% to get a good clean sound out of it. That being said, you would think with such small speakers that this thing would be weak like a lot of other portable monitors. So while it was disappointing that it maxes out so high, it gets distorted, but it also is just really loud in general, so it kind of makes up for that, and you'll see here right about now. So speaking of gaming, here I'm using the Redream app, and it has a touchscreen controls on it. I really don't like these controls, but just showing you that you could technically play like this. I would way rather have a Bluetooth gamepad connected to it myself, but as you see, it works. So you can hook it up to your display without a battery. So it will run on 10 brightness, low power mode. So finally, for the unboxing, as you see here, it's brand new. I took off the shrink wrap there. Really well packaged. It's a great present if you're going to be giving it to somebody. It's 15.6 inches. It's well wrapped there. It has the plastic wrap, and then there's also another layer of cellophane wrap on top of this monitor. You have your instruction manual. You have your power brick. It's a 30-watt power brick, and you have lots of cables here. Now, this is what I was talking about, a full-size HDMI cable. You got a USB Type A to Type C, Type C to Type C, and a Type C to Type C. So mostly you're going to be using Type C with this device, but the full-size HDMI is nice. Now here's that swivel, and it's actually quite nice. I love that it frees up a lot of space, so the actual screen looks like an iPad Pro. And then it does extend out. You see here, you press the button, and then it has a little foot that comes out for portrait mode only. You don't need to pull that out if you're running non-portrait mode, landscape mode. I was just, to put it back in, you do need to click the button to push it back in. And that little teardrop thing is the light. We're going to check that out in a second. It does have this little LED light on the back. That's what it looks like when it's portable. You can set it flat. You can adjust it. You can swivel it. You can change it. We have full-size HDMI, audio. We have the switches, and then you have the speaker, and then that button that releases out the arm. And then here we got a USB Type A, and then two USB Type Cs, and then the other speaker. So the speakers do shoot out the two different directions, which is a nice design there. And then I just love that this looks like an iPad Pro. It's got those rounded edges. It looks beautiful. Now here are the lights, and as you see here, it's not very bright at all. I turned out the lights mostly, and you can see it when you're directly looking at it, but I think the idea of this is that it like kind of gives you that amber light in the back. And it's just very, very, very light. Don't expect it to brighten anything up too much. And then you can set it to a solid color like I'm doing here. I'm just changing through the different colors. Or you could do like a vivid or a colorful profile where it kind of fades or does different transitions between the colors. So final thoughts, this is a really capable touchscreen monitor. Just know what your application is. This one is very color accurate. It's very bright. It has that great contrast. It has the swivel. This is a very new design with the swivel. You can find cheaper ones without the swivel with less input I/O ports. You got to shop around. Things I look at are, the sRGB, the contrast, then how many nits brightness it has, what's the resolution, and what's the hertz. This one is 60 hertz. So if you are going to be doing some sort of gaming, especially on a newer console or computer, you might want a little higher hertz. I prefer that, like 144, 160 hertz. And then if you're going to be doing video editing or watching 4K content, obviously you want a 4K monitor, but you're going to pay a lot more for all that. So on this particular budget at the 1080p, and it does all these things, and it has the swivel, and it has the light, and it's a 2021 model, it's rocking it. It's doing good. It's a really solid buy. But keep that in mind that there's just such a competitive market, and there's so many out there. So make sure you're buying the right one for you.